Everybody. I hope that you are well, and I also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today, we'll be doing our grade 6 English lesson of Shades of Meaning. And before we start with our lesson, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once we've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, then we're going to select the subject of Language Arts, grade 6. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of Shades of Meaning. All right, so our chapter is Shades of Meaning. Our subject is English Language Arts. Grade grade 6. And the lessons that we're going to be focusing on under the chapter of Shades of Meaning is to describe the difference between related words, positive and negative connotation. All right. So basically, some words are alike, but they have very small differences in meaning. So, as much as some of the words are alike, but the differences, right? But they have like very small differences in meaning. Like the meanings are not really that much the same. And these differences we call shades of meaning. So, these differences in, let's say, in meanings, we call them shades of meaning. For example, right? We can look at the words called like we can look at these words which are stare, peak, and glare, right? So all three of these meanings, like they have kinda, or let's say similar meanings, right? Because if you're staring at something, it's almost like I'm peeking at something also, but it's also like a glare. It's like some form of stare, right? And if we now look at the differences in meanings between these three words, which are stare, peek, and glare, right? We're now going to look at the word as well as the definition. To stare. So as much as, firstly, as much as these words are, or let's say the meanings are similar to one another, but to stare, it is to look at something for a while. So to stare is to look at something for a while. And if you peek, right? To peek is to look at something quickly. So like, let me take a quick peek at something. So you look at something real quick. And then once you glare, right? Glare is to look at something in an angry way. So basically, all three of these meanings are to do with looking at something, but it means it is looking at something in a different way. Because, like we say, stare is looking at something for a while. It's like you're like really looking at something and you're like just staring and you're focused just on that one specific thing. And then we have peek, which is like somebody looking at something very quick. And then we have glare, and that is to look at something in an angry way. So we basically have shades of meaning, right? And shades of meaning, it is words that are alike, but they have very small differences, right, in meaning. So it is words that are like kind of alike, but they have very small differences in meaning. That is now shades of meaning, right? So these shades of meaning, right? For example, if we look at the word stare, peek, and glare, right? So stare, peek, and glare. These are three words, right? Where you'll say like, oh, but stare is the same as peek is the same as glare. But if you look at the word stare, stare is to look at something for a while. So to look at something for a while, right? That is stare. Then if you peek, right? Peek is to look at something quickly. It's almost like you don't want somebody to see that you are looking, right? That is peek. And then we have glare, right? Glare is to look at something in an angry way. And if we look at all three of these words, right? The meanings of these words, basically all of these meanings mean to look at something. So all three of them, it means to look at something, but it means to look at something in a different way. Because stay is to look at something for a while. It's like you're just focused on that one thing for a while, right? Then peek is to look at something real quick. It's like you don't even want somebody to see that you are peeking. It's like sitting somewhere and somebody's on their phone and you are like peeking to kind of see what they are chatting on their phone or what they're watching on their phone, but you're not actually supposed to. So you're looking quickly, right? And then glare is to look at something in an angry way. So once again, stare, peek, and glare, it all means to look at something, but it means to look at something in a different way or like in different ways. And we basically call them shades of meaning, right? Because they are words that are alike, but they have very small differences, and these small differences are called shades of meaning. Then we have connotations, right? We have positive connotation as well as a negative connotation. So we have positive connotation as well as negative connotation. And connotation is the feeling or idea that goes along with a word or with a phrase. So, connotation is the feeling or an idea that goes along with a word or it goes with a phrase. So, some words are close in meaning, but they have different connotations. And that is why we say you can have a negative connotation and you can have a positive connotation. For example, think about the word eager, right? And impatient. So the words eager and impatient, both of them mean wanting something to happen. It's like I'm eager to do something or to get something, right? You really want it very badly. Or impatient, meaning I impatiently want that thing, like I want it now. But if you look at eager and you look at impatient, right? Both of them have different connotations because impatient, like, kind of has a negative connotation to it. Because, of course, if you want something, you're going to have to be patient, right? And then we have eager. Eager is more of a positive connotation. It is more of a nicer word because if you are eager, then you are happy, you excited, it's like you would want to even do more chores in order to get that thing. But impatient is negative, right? It's a negative connotation because people who are not impatient, they sometimes become pushy, they become demanding, they end up becoming rude, right? Because they are not getting what they want, let's say on their term or let's say on their time, right? So that is why we have positive connotations as well as negative connotations. And once again, connotation is the feeling or idea that goes along with a word or a phrase. And some of the words are close in meaning, but they have different connotations. And we say that there's negative connotations as well as positive connotations. Positive connotations is when, like good things. It's like you are happy, you're excited, you are doing things the right way. You're doing your chores in order to get the reward. But the negative connotations is like we start having attitude and bad behaviors, right? Because you're not getting what you want at a certain time. All right, and we are doing our tutorial lesson on A plus students.ca. So now we're going to our lesson on A plus, our tutorial lesson on A plus students.ca. And we said our chapter is Shades of Meaning. And the lesson that we're focusing on is to describe the difference between related words. And once again, some words are alike, but they have very small differences in meaning. And those differences are called shades of meaning. And we made an example of stare, peek, and glare, where we see that all three of these words, all three of them mean to look at something, but it means to look at something in a different way, right? So the differences in meanings, right, we call them shades of meanings. right? You said stay is to look at something for a while. So this is a chapter of shades of meaning. Shades of meaning. So we said with stay, it's to look at something for a while. It's like you're just you literally just focused on that thing or person, and your focus is on there for a long time. It's like you are. It's like we would say you zoning out. That's the word. And then peak is to look at something quickly because you don't actually want them to see you looking at it. And then glaze to look at something in an angry way. So once again, all three of them is to look at something, but it's to look at something in a different way. All right. All right. So if we now look at, they're saying which is made more carelessly. So something that is made more carelessly, right? They say a quick decision is made more carelessly because a quick decision isn't necessarily bad, right? So a quick decision isn't necessarily bad, but a hasty decision is made more quickly than it should be. So which means that making a decision quickly is okay, but being hasty about something, right? Which means that you are doing it or making a decision more quickly than it should be. So now a hasty decision is more carelessly than a quick decision. So a hasty decision is more carelessly than a quick decision. All right, let's go to our test. We need to say which is more intense. If you're just crying, right, compared to sobbing, which one is more intense? Crying or sobbing? So, which is more intense? If you are sobbing or if you are crying? All right. And if we choose the correct one that shows which one is more intense, then we would say sobbing would be more intense. So as much as both of the words are the same, right? Or similarly the same, sobbing is more an intense crying. So sobbing is correct. So well done. Sobbing is correct. That is more intense. It's like you're crying from your stomach. Which is less polite? If you are just speaking about something or if you are bragging about something. Which one is less polite? Meaning it is not polite when you're just speaking about something or when you are bragging. So, which is less polite or which is not polite? Is it when you are speaking about something or when you're bragging about something? It's like going to my friends and telling my friends that my mom bought me a PS5, right? So now I'm just talking about it, like about the PS5, and it's white in color, and I got it yesterday, and I'm really happy. But if you go to your friends and like, yeah, so my mom bought me a PS5 and you don't have one, and and you're just going on and on and on and on and on about it, that is bragging, right? And that is less polite. So bragging is less polite. But talking about something, speaking about something is polite. So bragging is less polite. So well done. Bragging is great. So which word now suggests more intelligence? So which word suggests more intelligence? Is it when you're brilliant or when you're smart? Which one shows more intelligence? Brilliant or when you're smart? So which is more intelligent? All right. And if we say or we suggest what is more intelligent, then we can say if you're brilliant, right? So if you're intelligent, you're smart, but if you're more intelligent, you're brilliant. So well done. Brilliant is correct. Which shows pride? Which shows pride? Is it when you're just strolling down the road or down the corridor, or when you are strutting? So which shows more pride? Strutting or strolling? So strolling is when you're just taking a little walk, and strutting is when you are walking past as a female and shaking your hair and having your body language, and or guys, you're walking as if you are owning the passage or the road. That is strutting. But strolling is when you're just taking a walk. So which one shows pride? Strolling or strutting? All right. So which shows more pride? So we can say strutting shows more pride. Because if you're just walking, just taking a little stroll, then that is not showing pride at all. Which is less common? Which is less common? Is it something that seldom happens or something that sometimes happens? Which is less common? So, which is less common? Is it when something seldom happens or when something that happens sometimes? Less common. All right, then if we were to choose the correct one, we would say something that is less seldom is less common. Well done. Seldom is correct. So, which admits fault? So, which admits fault? Is it when announcing something or when you are confessing something? So, when I'm admitting to a fault that I made, am I announcing it or am I confessing it? All right. So, which admits fault? So, which means that if you were at fault, right? Announcing something, is that admitting fault? Or when you are confessing something. So, if we are confessing something, then it means that we are admitting fault. So, well done. So, confessing is basically you are admitting fault. Which is slower? If you are just taking a jog or if you are running, you need to say which one is slower. When you're just taking a jog or when you are running. So, which is slower? Is it when I'm just taking a jog, when I'm just jogging, or when I am running? So, we need to say which one is slower, jogging or running. All right. And if we were to say which one is slower, right, then definitely jogging is slower because jogging is like when you are not really putting in much effort, you are just going for a good jog. But running, it's like you want to pick up speed, go faster, go slower. So jogging, well done. It is going slower. So which is worse? Something bad or something horrible? Which is worse? Something bad or something horrible? Something that is bad. Something that is worse, sorry, is bad worse than horrible or is horrible worse than bad? So something that is worse, does it mean it is something that is bad or something that is horrible? All right. So basically, something that is horrible is worse than something that is bad. So well done. Horrible is correct. Which is more forceful? If I'm just wiping something off, taking a cloth and just wiping the counter or wiping the stove Or which is more forceful? Is it when I'm scrubbing something? I'm scrubbing the cupboard, scrubbing the floors, scrubbing the, let's say, by the stove. So which is more forceful? I'm putting more force, I'm putting more effort, I'm putting more arm into it. Is it just when you're wiping something or when you are scrubbing something? All right. So which means that if once we put in much force, it means that you are now scrubbing something. So instead of just mopping the floor, you are scrubbing the floor. Instead of just wiping the counter, you are scrubbing the counter. So well done. Scrubbing shows much force. Which one has a stronger emotion? When you're feeling scared or when you're feeling terrified? It shows a stronger emotion. When you are scared or when you are terrified? So something that has stronger emotion, the feeling of being scared or being terrified. All right. So basically, the stronger emotion is when you are feeling terrified. So well done. Terrified is correct because it shows a stronger emotion, it shows a stronger fear. So now we're going to positive and negative connotation, right? So we said connotation is the feeling or idea that goes along with a word or it goes with a phrase, right? And some words are close in meaning but have different connotations, right? And we said the different connotations can be either a negative connotation or it can be a positive connotation. So, for example, if you look at the two words which are eager and the word that is impatient, right? Both of these words means that you are wanting something to happen, right? Eager, you are eager for something to happen, or you're impatiently wanting something to happen. But when you look at the two, which is eager as well as impatient, they have different connotations. And that is where negative connotation comes in as well as positive connotation. And of course, if you listen to the word negative, it means that it is not nice. And if you listen to something positive, positivity is always something good. So if we look at the word eager, right? Eager has a positive connotation. Eager is a very nice word, meaning that somebody who is eager, right, is a person that is happy. They are excited, right? They want something to happen, but they are excitedly waiting for that thing to happen. It's like a concert, right? They are going to the concert next month. Now you are you're eager, excitedly happily waiting for the concert. You even have a countdown. You'll do chores, you'll do certain things in order for you to, be nice with your parents so that your parent does not change their mind about you going to the concert. Because you are eager, right? You are happy, you are excited. But impatient, right? Impatient has a negative connotation because impatient is not a nice word, right? It's the opposite of nice. And an impatient person is often very pushy, they can be very demanding, and eventually, after time, when they become very pushy and demanding, they can even become very rude, right? because now they are waiting on something or they are wanting something to happen, and now you're not giving it, on the time that they are expecting it. So now they become rude. They refuse to do chores. They refuse to do certain things in order to get whatever that they want. Because you said you're going to give me a PS5, and now it's been a month later and I still didn't get anything. Right? So impatient is a negative connotation, right? It is not a nice word. Somebody becomes pushy or demanding or rude when they're impatient. Whereas an eager person, right, it is a positive connotation because it's a very nice word, and it means you can either be happy or excited. All right, so now let's go to our test connotation, right? Which is going to be either negative connotation or positive connotation. So, which phrase has more positive connotation? So, we're going to select the phrase with a more of a good and positive connotation. Is it a nosy, busy person or an inquisitive person? So, is it option one or option two? A phrase that has a positive connotation, a nosy person or an inquisitive person? So we need to say which one has a positive connotation. And if we look at the difference between a nosy, busy person that wants to be all up in somebody's business all the time, compared to an inquisitive person, right? Then the phrase that has more of a positive connotation is an inquisitive person. Now we need to say which phrase has a negative connotation. We need to say which phrase has a negative connotation. Mhm. All right, so now we need to say which phrase has a more of a negative connotation. Is it a nitpicky editor or a meticulous editor? A nitpicky editor or a meticulous editor? The one who has a negative connotation. So, which one has a more negative connotation? So, one that has a more negative connotation, we can say it is somebody that is more nitpicky, a nitpicky editor. So, well done. That is correct. Which phrase has more negative connotation? Is it an employee or an underling? An employee or an underling? Which one has more of a negative connotation? And if we look at the meaning, right? An employee is somebody who basically is employed at a specific job, right? Because either your qualifications or experience or whatever. And then an underling, right? It is where it's when a person that is in a more lower rank than what you are. So that is an underling. So which means that the phrase that has a more negative connotation is an underling because it basically shows you that somebody's more below you than just working with you, for example. So underling is correct. So well done. Which phrase has a more negative connotation? Is it scrutinizing someone's outfit or studying someone's outfit? So, scrutinizing someone's outfit or studying someone's outfit. All right. So, scrutinizing someone's outfit, or is it studying someone's outfit? All right. So, scrutinizing someone's outfit. Because if you're studying it, you'll be giving compliments. All right. All right. Let's go to the last one. It says, which phrase has a more negative connotation? Is it a clique or a club? A clique or a club? So if you're at school and you belong to a specific club, then I feel like that is something good because it can either be a reading club, book club, ladies club, whatever club. A clique is more y'all coming together and sometimes talking about each other, right? So let's say a clique, right? So click definitely because at your age you would try to get away from a click. They start talking about each other, usually saying negative things about each other, wanting to be better than one another, right? That is a click. So a click is correct. Well done. Now, which one has more of a positive connotation? Is it a willful attitude or a resolute attitude? A willful attitude or a resolute attitude? Which one is more positive? All right. So if we even look at the difference between willful and resolute, right? Willful is done in a manner which is intended, right? While a resolute is more you're being firm, right? You are determined, whereas willful is more with an attitude. All right. So we will then say it is willful because it is in a manner in which it is intended. Ah, it's resolute. Resolute, probably because it is firm and you're determined to want to do something. So resolute is more you're firm and determined to want to do something. So it is actually a resolute. It seems like it got all of us there. All right. So that is now the differences on positive and negative connotations. Remember, positive connotation is when it's like you're saying or doing something good. Negative has more a bad connotation to it. And we had to describe the different related words where we said that you can have certain words, right, with little differences to meaning. So as much as the words like kinder sounds the same, or let's say the meanings of the word kinder are the same, but the meanings of the word, there's less, let's say, the meanings are not much the same, right? So that is describing the difference in between related words, and that is also different shades of meaning. It's when you have words with with similar meanings, but the differences that you have, we call that shades of meaning. All right, so this is now the end of our lesson on shades of meaning. I once again want to apologize for being a bit late. It's not going to happen again. You should have a good day or evening further. Goodbye.